So Ibrahim Rasool was recalled and sent back. And now Ramaphosa has, most likely from what we hear in the news, he's shortlisted 4 white South African who are Afrikaner, which is kind of, explosive because a lot of people associate racism with Afrikaner. He's chosen 4 Afrikaner to send as a shortlist. This is not official, but it seems like they've been shortlisted to be the ambassador. So this is kind of a touchy situation. It might be sort of like Trump and Elon Musk and waving their thumb at South Africa. But at the same time, Ramaphosa has shortlisted these guys. And I will say, I've looked at the list of the 4 guys. One of them is someone who took part in the negotiations to transfer power from the white government to the black. So, and the other 3, I think all of them have liberal backgrounds. So they're Afrikaner, but they tend to appear to be liberal and woke and not racist, supposedly. So it seems like Ramaphosa's sort of like riding the fence. He wants to please Trump and Elon Musk, who's actually the president of America, by putting somebody who's white and Afrikaner. But at the same time, if black people attack him, they'll say, oh, well, these guys are liberal and they may not agree with Trump's view, which was your point. So what do you think about that, taking that point? Yeah.
This is a very interesting position because, South Africa is the anchoring member of BRICS. And South Africa is a white settler colony that has rebelled against the system. I mean, it would have been or could have been a G7 nation along with Australia and New Zealand. It's like Australia and New Zealand breaking away from the West.
Before apartheid was over, right?
Yes, it's like Australia and New Zealand breaking away from the West and G7 to join BRICS. That's basic because those countries also have indigents who are not from Western Europe. The difference being that they were not able to wipe out the large numbers of South Africans as they were able to do with the Aborigines, or they were able to do with the Maoris. They couldn't do that with the South African population. So that settler colony has reversed on them. Now, as to the appointments, I do not yet know the views or the personalities of these 4 persons that have been pre-selected. They have been pre-selected in view of Trump solely because their skin is white and they are Caucasian skin.
And they're Afrikaans too, which is important. They're Afrikaans.
Yes, and they're Afrikaans. As to the nature of what is going on in their mind and their views, which to my mind matters more, it doesn't really generate there. Remember also, if South Africa wants to start sucking up to America, China sent out a warning today that they're going to start, Beijing said they're going to start sanctioning people that do any kind of trade with America that falls to the detriment of China. They're going to fight those people. China said so.
Africa needs to be careful. So, but let's stay on task.
Africa needs to be careful when you're now appeasing one person and provoking another, because now it's turned into a full-blown trade war. So I believe that if Ramaphosa is a forward-thinking leader, those 4 Afrikaans would be of a mindset that would still support the former ambassador, who was actually, I mean, it was the closest thing you can have to being deported, is what was not that they recalled him back.
Oh, basically he was deported. No, Kool-Aid, you don't do your research. Hold on, Kool-Aid, you don't do your research. He wasn't deported. He got his ass kicked out. He got his ass kicked out. They said it's like when you find your girlfriend cheating on you. Pack your bag, get your ass out. We'll take you.
Yes, he was welcomed back into South Africa as a hero. So as far as the South African people are concerned.
Okay, but here's the thing. So, Kool-Aid, very quickly, he's a hero to South Africa, okay? But I don't think he has any business being an ambassador, because as you're an ambassador, you can bring inflammatory politics, which I agree with. I agree with his politics, but a time and a place for everything. Go on. So go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. And so it may be that these other members may hold the same view, but they'll be far more tactical and intelligent in managing to speak as diplomatically as possible, hence the very word diplomatic, and evade those kind of questions. When those difficult questions come, an ambassador will say, well, at the moment, we are trying to work out better relations with America. And in order to do that, we have to, I don't know how they're going to say this.
Okay, let me give you an example.
They have to put their differences aside in some areas.
Let me give you an example.
Economics.
Let me give you an example. One of the guys, his name is Rolf Meyer. This guy was Minister of Defense during apartheid government. White guy. Now that doesn't mean he's racist, but he was Minister of Defense. But also, when there was a transfer of power, he was one of the negotiators to transfer power. So my argument is, I don't care what his politics. If he took a job as a Minister of Defense in an apartheid era government, then I don't think he's 100% a humanist. Because if I were a white person and I was against apartheid, I would never take a position in South Africa government that was apartheid. Do you get my point? Now, I'm not saying that.
Well, at the same time, it might be the very opposite, that someone of that nature who was in office at the time when South Africa handed over to the black people, they had somebody who was opinionated as such to make sure that that handover was effective. So he looks on paper to be
what I mean, I was saying that probably, I'm talking about his personal politics, probably in his heart, in his personal politics. I'm not saying that he's anti-black or anything, but if he has enough stomach to be appointed by an apartheid Boer or whatever his name is, Piet Botha, if he has the stomach to be appointed by a killer and someone who's holding down black people, we also begin to question what his personal politics are. It sounds to me like he's looking out for himself, like most human beings. He wants to be part of.
There were some pro-black apartheid leaders in office, is what I'm saying, and he could be one of those.
So my thing is that if you're in office in an anti-black, for example, I would never accept an office in Israel's government right now. I would never accept it because they're killing people. So what I'm trying to say is, if you can accept a government position under an apartheid regime, then we have to start questioning what your morals are. I'm not saying his morals are bad, but there is a question there. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, yes, there may be a question there, but at the same time, his rise to the top and the fact that he came about to be in that position could have been for altruistic reasons. We don't know. Let's see what happens. Yeah, let's see what happens.
Looking at the list, okay. The next one, his name is Martinus van Schalkwyk, the last leader of the National Party and a former ANC Minister of Tourism. So he's been in a black government before too. So you're right. And the other guy, Andries Nel, former Deputy Justice Minister. So he was also in the black government. Then
yes.
I'm just making fun of these names. Gerhardus Kornhoff, Ramaphosa's parliamentary counselor and son of apartheid. So if you see how all these guys are on the fence. He's a parliamentary counselor for Ramaphosa, but he's also the son.
I think South Africa are trying to ridicule America in saying that, oh, really, you don't like him because of what he said. Okay, that we're going to get some very, very white people that you will like on the surface. And let's see whether you think that South Africa hasn't changed as much as it has. And they will set an example for them.
I think Ramaphosa is doing that not so much to make fun of them, but to appease both sides. He'll appease them, like you said, the white racists. Oh yeah, they got a white Afrikaner. They good. Then the black people, like, how can you put white Afrikaner? They said, my friend, but at least they help for transition of the government too. You get my point? So so what he's doing, Ramaphosa is the ultimate tactician, strategist. He's pleasing both sides. You get my point?
He's pleasing Trump with the optics. Now Trump can now either just leave it at the optics and not provoke himself into testing that ambassador again, because it might not change.
Especially since
what South Africa done, they gave them the opportunity to say, I see whiteface, leave him alone. It's not Ibrahim.
Yeah, and also it's just an ambassador position. It's not like it's a big position. So all the ambassador has to do is go to parties, drink wine, shake people's hands, go home. That's it. That's all you have to do as an ambassador.
Yeah, and also when we speak racism, if you hear a black person supporting white people to be racist, that person has a bigger voice. The white people will be like, him. And it works in the same way. And it works the same way the other way around. When you have a white person saying this black racism thing is bad, it also has a bigger effect on the. When I say, I'm not talking about all black and white people. The people that fall into this class of people that this thing matters to. They're normally the poor to middle working class, not very successful, and like to blame their problems on the world and not try to be proactive about
blame it on black people, or blame it on Mexican people, blame it on Nigerians, blame it on Zimbabweans, Ghana.
Or they've simply been brought up in such a way that would make them so, and they haven't yet grown up. Because some are brought up like that and grow up, some don't. So there's a lot, and the Gen Z is becoming far more modern. There's far fewer even in racist countries like South Africa, I don't know about South Africa, but at least I know in America, the population that don't support these far right-wing views are much higher amongst the under 50s.
Oh yeah, young people.
That is much higher. So they're much more in line with how we see the future of the world should be, unless their own views are corrupted. As
the only problem is that the Gen Z are only on TikTok. They're not ready for political movement. They just do TikTok.
Yes, but they're still young. The young shall grow. These people will become more significant in the next decade or two to come.
That's scary, though, because I don't know if these kids are ready to take the world to the next level. They need some education. But yeah, you're right.
Yes. And many of these children that are standing up and fighting for Palestine, many of them, their parents are Republicans and, racists and all sorts, and they're rebelling against their family.
That's like the Vietnam War with the white kids from America.
Yes, and that's exactly what could be going on with this new trade war. Thank God that the wars that we've had are not been violent. I don't think China needs to work with violence.
All right. So sorry to cut in front